going through here and put myself in properly.
Hi, Georgina. I'm Debbie.
Hi.
Let's.
Hey guys.
Cool. Everyone see my screen yet? Have I got my screen?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. So cool. Oh, well done. There we go. How's that? Cool. All good?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to take me off because I have to wander around and light. So let me just take myself off, and then I'll cool, go on. Then I can wander around and be myself and write on my board as I go through there. Cool. So we're going to start today's meeting. We're going to still talk about the OXO like we have done for the last 2 weeks through there, but we're just going to change it up a slight little bit. We have quite a few salon owners that will be joining us shortly. And out of our weekly meetings, we're going to be zipping in and out of going through back to module 1 and then all the way up to module 3 again. So we'll be taking it in turns each week through catch up. So my main aim today with the meeting was trying to figure out where people really are. I know a lot of you that have been on here before that have done this. I've completed module 1 and module 2. So you've completed and now you're working through module 3. And I think what I wanted to figure out now with sort of a few weeks in was really whereabouts people are. And I just wanted to jog our memory why we did what we did and the reasons behind it. So the reason behind module 1, the foundation, which I know you would have all done because I've got your reports here, is that module 1 is literally about you. It's putting a barrier around you to say, this is what I accept in my life. This is who I want to do life with. And it's very easy to fill the form in and pass it on to me without actually really changing your mindset of what you stand for and who you're going to let in. Also through module 1, as we go through past the VIP client policy and why people buy what you're selling, what we're actually talking about through that one is, I mean, the trendy word is the client avatar at the moment, but what we're actually breaking down is who is this person? They say if you can break it down ideally to her name is Tracy, she drives a Volvo, and she is 34 years old with 2 children going to grammar school. The more you narrow that down, the more ideal it is. I think it's impossible to get that avatar perfect. I really do. But the whole idea of figuring out who buys from us is the fact is that who do you resonate with? Who do you like to do? Who likes to come to you? And we sort of knuckled out that it's usually someone similar to you. You know, if you have the same interests as other people, like birds of a feather flock together, there is a chance that your ideal client is you. And your ideal client will move through the ages as you move through the ages too. And hopefully, if you're good enough, your clients will move with you and they'll always be your ideal clients. As you age, so do they. So once we have mastered the why do they come, so how do we find this particular person, we try to do something a bit different here. Everyone wants to talk about branding and branding the salon, and we try and talk about branding you. So you are the key. And then what we need to knuckle out was how do you get the fire in your belly, the passion, the why you do it, transformed into a way where it's in the salon. And if I open them doors, I would go, hey, that's Georgina. That's exactly what she is. That's what she stands for. That quirky clock on the wall is just her. That quirky wallpaper is just her. The way that she does a consultation is just her. And then, of course, we have to take that ideal brand of you into a salon brand so everybody has that. So the people who come to work for you, the following you have is all geared around what you like to do. Because if you do your best work with your ideal clients, they're just going to keep telling people, which means you get more ideal clients, you're doing your best work, and every day is a great day. That's the dream world we aim for. And then, of course, we try and teach you how do you talk about what you do without going, I am a salon owner and I am a hairdresser, I am a beautician. There's a way how you need to talk. We talk about taglines and we talk about how you can have a conversation that opens it up. So that was very easy, module 1. So module 1 literally is who are you, what do you do, and how can you tell the world about you? As we move into module 2, our main concern with module 2 literally was, this is, if you got the story correct, this is the client or the prospective client journey. This is the moment the client thinks they know you or have heard of you or a whisper of you or saw a business card or Googled you before they knew who you were. This is the journey of a client from being an intangible person, an invisible entity. As we move into module 3, she becomes a client. So the journey in module 2 is something we don't have any control over at all. This literally is, how do we get a nobody, no clients, we don't even know who they are, one, to pick up the phone, but what we're trying to do more so than for them to pick up the phone is we're building an intangible journey for them to follow, whichever way they follow it. So for example, at the most basic level indeed would be for you to take them from Googling you to your phone number to give you a call. That's a 3-step process, as basic as we get. If you're a little bit different than other people and you really want to get rid of certain people, for example, you only want to do punk rockers in your salon because that's who you're about. You don't want 25 calls a day from mods or skinheads, or anybody else. So you want to direct them to your webpage where you're going to be playing this sort of music and you are actually going to be talking in their language. And that way you will filter out the people you do not want to do business with, the people you don't want to let into your lives, and then just sort of narrow down the people that you do want to let into your lives. So we call it a sales process. The whole idea of our sales process is that people only spend money with people they like. So with lesson 1 in module 2, we were building some sort of credibility, some sort of idea that the ideal client expects a certain quality with what they are after, and you are going to give them that, because once you've done module 1, you know who your ideal client is, because if they're like you, should know them inside out. And you know what your minimum standards are. So if you're going to go to a restaurant, for example, you'll have a minimum standard of what you expect as you walk through that door. But before you make an appointment at that particular restaurant, you will Google that restaurant, and the music on the web page, the pictures on the web page, the language they talk about will be exactly what you think it's going to be or not. If it is not what you expect the restaurant to be, or what in your mind you wouldn't feel at ease with that particular restaurant, you will not make the call and go away. So I guess what we try and do is people need to spend their money with people they like, and they need to have some sort of credibility. So lesson 1 is building that credibility and likability up, which we've done, which is what you've knuckled out in module 1. As we get to the sale process, I guess some of that you want to let them in. You want to let them into you and tell them bits about you to get them to make that call if that's what you want. So for example, I was always a higher end salon, and I didn't want 25 calls a day or 25 people walking through my salon door asking me how much my prices were, and then pulling a face and huffing as they leave because I'm obviously a little bit out of their league. But that's okay. Everyone has a price point. It's not that I was being snobby. I just didn't want to end at a certain level of person. And I'm going to do a video on this week, so you might get a hold of the video when I talk about war zones. And so, for example, my sales process for my salon was almost on my home page was a price list. And I wanted people to go to that page because I wanted to only let people in. As they made that phone call, we didn't have to end our conversation with how much is that? And we have to tell them a price, and you hear them go, and you know they're going to cancel or they're not going to turn up. So what we do is we set this process in motion to build through the sales process. What we also try and do once we feel we've got this intangible journey, so we've made this journey up and we're hoping that they get through this journey, whatever your journey is, we then have a keep in touch strategy that we put into this level. This is before we got as far as we need to. This keep in touch strategy is anyone that you can collect an email address, which is so old fashioned now, Facebook's here, but indirectly, anyone that you connect with, you should have some sort of way of logging it down just so you can talk to them and give them a bit more information if needed. Because people will buy when they're ready. They will not buy when you're ready. So you need to make sure you can at least hold a conversation with them. Nowadays, we can do that on Snapchat quite easily. So it means that you are keeping in touch with them on Snapchat or on Facebook or any other media you want. It doesn't have to be an email. But somewhere along the line, you have to have some idea how you're going to hold a conversation with them. Using an email, for an example, you would collect that and then write an email to them. But you can do mobile numbers and text them any way you want. And then we move on to the information product strategy. And this particular one was the last element that we had to prove to the world, to prove to anybody, we are good at what we do, and I'm going to prove it to you. So that is the end of module 2. And the reason we went over this, because it was a very easy module to do, but the whole point of doing this module 1 and module 2 was to really implement it, not just to fill a form in. So we know most of you have filled them in, but I guess what we want to figure out is your sales cycle that we made, does it really follow your ideal client's journey to go from A to B? I guess that's what we need to figure out. And if it hasn't, it's a good time to reflect, to come back and say, you know what, I actually need to build that information product strategy. And that could be, like we said before, if you're into nails like Julie is, you would literally do videos of nails, of how easy it is to remove your nails, how easy it is to paint your nails at home. Or you can do an information product strategy that you're going to be giving to other people. Like Julie also does other salons that she teaches, so she could actually make videos of a professional level because she's now doing B2B as well as B2C. So it's knowing what you need to do. I personally think when we had our salon, we used to get our girls to do little mini videos of how they can do long hair and style it multiple times. So we used to do that and put it on YouTube. So if anyone Googled me, we would direct them to that so they can see how we used to do a party look with a certain style or how they can wear it different. That sort of gave me a bit of cred in my area. We were known in the area as the hair salon around town. But it's only because I was in charge of telling my story, because I believe we all have a story, and if you're not telling it, others are. So I just took the lead and thought, if you're going to be talking about me, I'm going to make sure you talk about what I asked you to talk about. So we used to send out these videos to people. We'd send the videos to our email list that we collected. We used to send these emails to video via our email, because we used to download our email list into Facebook and then send them all the video on Facebook. So whatever happened, we were always in our clients' faces regardless. So once we finished these modules through here, the whole point was, have we really implemented them through? And Georgina, you're the one I'm going to pick on today, which is good. How did you go with module 2? You finished that?
I think so. You know what? You can pick on me because I'm very naughty. I actually haven't done any homework for like 2 weeks.
Cool.
But I've been very busy, which is good. So I was thinking about your sales cycle process, and I've put a lot of those. I haven't really thought about it, but when I look back, I think, gee, I've done a lot of those, put those processes in, and they've been really, really good. So what I do normally, because most of my business is directed through my Facebook page, and, you know, for the first 2 years, I've been doing it for 3 years now, I think. So for the first 2 years, there was a lot of bantering backwards and forwards and, you know, husband going, get off your phone at night time, and I'm trying to, you know, say what I do and all that sort of stuff. Now I just send them a price list, and it's fantastic. So I just go, boom, there's my price list, and I've made it pretty. I've sort of photoshopped it so that there's a picture of my salon, which has, you know, looks like my branding a bit, you know, the colours and the, you know, what I look like. It's got the price list on it, and it's also, you know, got my address and just like a little blurb thing. But by sending that, I eliminate out of 10 inquiries, you know, the next level, they already know what they're going to pay, which is good. And then I know they're serious, and it's just saved me so much time. It's unreal. It's good.
It is. It's a very strange thing. It took me such a long time to realize this big one, and that's why when we were going over these 2 modules, it took me an awful long time when I had to realize who I was meant to serve. I actually thought when I opened my salon, I should be doing everybody, and I tried to please literally everybody that we opened.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I realized I'm not here to serve people, be it price or be it, I don't particularly like you. It was very easy to let them go. And the world I live in now, which is we are, I didn't want to talk about me too much. This particular world that I've entered is really full of sharks. It's a shark den, all of it, because everyone wants money off coaches. There's the biggest biggest racket going at the moment. So it's very strange. So having a policy that was already implemented as a salon owner, it's really helped me to say no to an awful lot of people. Because I have this policy inside me that if I actually don't like you, I will not do business with you at all. And there's a few salon owners, even in our group, that you probably won't see, that I've asked to leave because I just don't want to work with them. Not because they're
I wondered about those ones that drop off. I see them on Messenger saying so-and-so has left the group, and I think, oh, there you go.
Well, I just came to a policy in my own head that the thing is that I'm going to be morbid now, and I don't want to be morbid. I reckon I'm halfway through. Life itself. I reckon I'm halfway, and for the first time, I suppose in my life completely, I have this thing where I'm not letting anybody in anymore. Like I'm a giver, and I'll give as much as I can. But I've decided that there's some people that just suck me dry, and I don't need them anymore. So. I decide to let people go. I don't think it's important. I think the energy levels that I have maintain that way. And I as a salon owner, I've learned the hard way where I remember having this guy in the UK. He was a beautiful guy, great hairdresser. He actually went off and did famous things. And he was a nasty piece of work. And I employed him for about 4 years until my wife had the guts to chuck him out, literally chuck him out the salon. And he almost tried to take me to court for the money we owed him. But indirectly, he sucked me dry every day because I used to come home with his worries on my shoulders. And I don't have that much. And now I deal with a lot of beautiful people. I like my mind to be a bit more clearer. I used to wake up at 3 a.m. when I started coaching, when people used to tell me they're losing their mortgages. And it used to drive me absolutely insane. So now I realize that I'll help everybody who's willing to be helped. I can't just be a venting machine where people just vent all the time at me, because I just don't think I want to get past that. So, yeah, having, like you say, having that policy in place really helped me and changed me. It really made a big difference to my life. So, I think
what I think too, with the course, it's really put a bit of structure. Even though I'm naughty with my homework, I have put a lot of those things into play. So on my... Now we're talking about module 1 and 2. So I've done the cutting course 2 weeks ago, and I've put on another junior. I don't know if I've told you that one. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think you said, yeah.
So I've done a lot, and it's good. And now, there's a lot of, I feel a bit more, I don't feel scattered. I feel a little bit like the structure is in play. I'm looking at my apprentice, my second-year apprentice, and I had a chat to her the other day about her her clothes, because she slipped a bit, because, we are a fancy home salon. And I've said to her, it's very easy to come in your Ugg boots, which I'm in right now, and, but not around clients. And I've sort of given her the talk about now I'm going to start handing her some of my clients. So she needs to be aware of, there's a chick on Instagram she's, in love with, a hairdresser. I'm like, you need to start looking and observing the next phase, and we've about attracting my clients to her and all of this sort of stuff. So we're starting to put those sort of policies into play, because that's where we're at now, handing over. And you have to think about all those things. She now has to attract the people that my VIPs,
I totally agree. I remember I had this girl, I think she's been on this group a few times, an ex-employee of mine, and I might let her in again because she's a nice person. She's just gone on her own, so I might get her in. And I remember having a conversation with her, and she literally told me to F off, like literally in the back room. I'm the boss, but I think I just came across a bit wrong. I actually says to her, you've been a junior now for 1.5 years. It's time to start looking like a senior. And I think she just maybe it came out wrong or the wrong time when I actually said it. But I actually know what you mean. There's a difference when someone looks at someone and the junior looks different to a senior. There's a big growth for us in our field.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes they need to look the part.
Well, I think I make an effort to look the part. And, if we break down my VIP client again, and like you said, they're probably a little bit like you. Well, you know what? They don't want to shop at Supre. They probably shop at Country Road and Witchery. So you need to kind of, you've got to fit that look, don't you? You've got to kind of, you don't have fluorescent pink hair. You have what's on trend, and she's a souped up new younger version, so we can model her even better, I reckon, because I think also my VIP client would look at her as a fashionable monocopy anyway. So you've got to put that into play, the makeup.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of them things where if I was going to a new salon, you should always go to the person with the worst hair, because obviously they didn't do it themselves. So
Yeah,
for me, when I go to a salon, you tend to look at someone. What we do is we look at how they dress, and we want to go with someone who almost thinks they get us.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I agree totally. But somewhere along there, that should be popped into your policy.
Policy, okay.
Policy, which we should. Because ideally, what should happen? I do this with my one-on-ones. So indirectly, your stylist, so you should have a sort of an idea of what you expect a senior to take. So we're talking money, rebooks, retail, and then also their attitudes of what things they should do. It's a bit like when we're working through your junior one, where we had level 1, level 2, level 3 for each year. You should almost do the same as they go into a senior. As they've ticked things off, it should be, you know what, you need to be like that. I did find a really good policy the other day, which I was going to share, was there was one lady that I talked to. She gives a shoe allowance of $200 to all her seniors, which I thought was fantastic. To wear good shoes so they don't have bad legs. It's all tax deductible, but we used to do that with clothes. We used to give them a certain amount for clothes. We used to give them per year to go and buy it at a good place. We used to give vouchers away. They had to earn.
I gave my junior, because she was looking a bit pasty, she has to be the whitest blonde you can ever have, because that's what they want at 17. And I'm trying to explain to her that she looks a bit pasty, you can pull off the hair if you, put the blush on and, So I gave her $100 Mecca voucher, and I said, go get a makeup lesson. You can spend it on, once you've done the lesson, you can spend it. I said, so go and do that, and then you can pull off your Snow White, virgin white hair with, something else. Otherwise, they don't know yet, because they're only 17. They don't know about it all, do they?
No, and I think as they go through it, they realise that if it's what's important, that when you start we'll call it nagging, because they'll probably think you're a nag. But
yeah, that's what they like.
Hey, I've got 3 children. I've been through everything you can imagine. But
so have I, and now I've got 2 more.
Yeah, but it's like that. I think I've actually got a. I'll tell you how bad. I've actually, when I sold my salon, I've actually got a message now. It came through as we're speaking from one of my ex-employees who's working for someone else. So I was building a chicken pen in my garden yesterday, and she called me. I think she's going to hand a notice in, and she's messaging me now. So yeah, I'm still getting calls from these people. I'm not even connected to them. Well, on my heart I am, but not by anything else. But yeah, I think it's one of them things. We'll always have children when you have a salon. I think that's just part and parcel. I think that's why I like the story. Would my team come to work for me if I said to them I can't afford their wages this week? And I think they'd say no. So it draws a line for me that there are only employees and they're not friends. They're into my life and I let them in and I'll give them anything I can. But we can't move any forward than that. It has to be on my 3-step policy: salon first, and then it goes to the staff, and then onwards. Cool. I'm gonna move on through here. So we have got, as we go through here, module 2 is done. If we haven't got it done, let's pop it back in. And then we move into the next one, which is our perfect system. So we have the perfect pricing. Which pricing model you're going to go for? We sort of flirted over this a little bit because I wanted to sort of get you doing your own pricing. once you have the 2 modules in place, you should have a really good idea where you want to set that pricing to go to. So we sort of flirted over that, but said we'll talk that through if we needed to. We then moved on to setting goals, and we had a client, and she's not in today, Christy. She amazed me last week when I had a chat with her. She set a goal for her apprentices, which I just thought was beautiful. I cannot believe I didn't even think about it. So she had a goal for her juniors. So I think it was year 1, her first years, when they met their wage for the first year, she gave them a bit of a commission after that. So if their first wage is 300, I don't know what it is now. I'm out of sync. I'm out of employment.
About 380 something, I think.
380. Yeah. So for example, let's say 400 covers their wage. Once they take 400 in a week, she would give them like a $100 commission or a $50 commission or whatever it was on there. I'm not even sure if it was a small percentage, but that's what she gave. And then a second year, once they hit their wage, they give them that, and then it goes on. And the whole idea, which I used to do with mine, but I did in a different way to hers, was once you get them used to setting a goal and hitting the goal and setting the goal and hitting the goal, once they get to senior, that's all they know. They know about setting small goals and hitting it. We were talking about setting goals like, with me, I do the big one. I want to take $500,000 a year. So we need to do this much. So Mary, we're looking at you taking 100,000. Dave, you need 100,000. I'm going to hit 150. We need you juniors to do 5 or 6. And I think everybody having some sort of authority into their own agenda makes it work really well. So that
Can I
was
ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, because I've never managed a salon ever.
Yeah.
So, I'm new to this, 10 years in. So when I look at my appointment book online, whatever, now I've got the junior is now doing, if I put a half head of foils in, I'll put it in her column, and clearly that I can work that out. But what about if we're trying to work out their wage and everything? What about just the shampoos or they're doing things for me at the base, and how can I do you include that if you're trying to work out if they're covering their wage? How do you kind of balance those extras that they do that are really in my column?
Yeah, cool.
Like they'll do it blow dry and then I'll come and finish trimming it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, cool. You have to have some sort of guidelines. So cut and blow dry, I would give it all to you.
Yeah.
They're just doing it for the love. If I gave my apprentice a colour, I would put it onto her target, her take-ins.
Right.
So for example, I haven't coloured for like 10 years. I had my apprentices do all my colouring. So they would have a target of sometimes 1,500, but it'd be my colours they'd be doing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the week, they're still knackered. They're still done 20 foils or whatever it may be.
Well, because she doesn't stop. If we do a 12-hour day, which we do, she is from woe to go. She hasn't stopped, but she'll be doing the shampooing of my clients and the blow drying and all of that, and then probably only doing a couple of regrowth colours and some foils bits and pieces here and there. Maybe I can work out a percentage, like 15% of my cut and colour or something. I don't know. I'll have a think about it.
Yeah, give it nothing.
Really?
Yeah,
Sounds too nice. Okay.
No, can't blow dry nothing. She's working for the love of it. She's an apprentice. But
all right.
But I think in your head you need to work out how many colours will she do in a week. Let's say she'll do 10 a week. And you get $100 per one, so it's $1,000. I'd probably set her target at $1,000, and anything above that, I'd give her 30%.
Okay.
And cut and blow dry, she's just doing it for the love. Right? And she might say,
she really is doing it for the love, and she's so keen and dedicated and awesome. I feel like I need to do something like that.
Yeah, just work out how many colours she gets and get it right, and you can add to that if you need to. But also what she's doing, you've got to remember that every time you're letting her do a blow dry on a client, you are giving her a lift up. For A, you're giving her some practice, but B, that client is eventually going to be her client because she's so used to doing this person doing a blow dry over and over again. So yes, she's doing it for the love, but it's for the love of herself. It's not just for you. It's getting that client to think, wow, Tracy's not bad at all. I mean, in the end, I believe that Tracy would be better blow drying than you. It's just the way it is. So you are helping her up, but you need to come to something to realise that when she's done 12 hours, 2 days in a row, and she's knackered, she should have some sort of reward. And it doesn't have to be financial. It could be anything that you want to feel you can give.
Yeah. Oh, there we come back to my Hilton weekend that I have just done anyway without any goals. So there you go. There's a goal. I forgot about that already.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's perfect, and I think that's good.
Are you coming to Melbourne?
Yeah, am I coming to Melbourne? I actually got an invite last week. So I didn't realise someone sent me an invite. So I've got a 3-day pass for free because I'm an influential person, they say. And I got there's a top summit going on. And I can't think who's in there. That American blonde lady that's Tabitha. Is it Tabitha?
Yes, yes.
So I've got a
scary lady.
Say again?
She's scary.
Yeah, she is scary. She looks a bit like a mouse, I think. But I've got tickets, free tickets to go and see that show. It's a day show there, and I've got tickets for the after party. But I'm still not going.
What?
That was a long answer, wasn't
Why?
If you need a hot date, I'll come.
it? Yeah, it's one of the things where, my wife is petrified to fly, like literally petrified. So we went up to Queensland when I was up for the award. So I got onto the plane for that, even though it was really bad. And then she came to me, it must have been, I don't know, a month or two ago, and she says, I really want to do this course. And it's a permaculture course. So it's a bit, she's very into, if you've seen her post, she's very into growing her own food and finding the soul of it. So there's this it's the same weekend as Melbourne. So I'm thinking, do I go, do I not go? So I said, just book your course. And so I can still go if I want to, I can go on my own. But then I'm thinking, I'm so busy. I would really love that weekend off doing nothing. Because I've been to Expo for the last 10 years. Actually, I'm lying, 11 years in this country. And every year I either drive home and think, what an absolute waste. Every year, not 1 year, because I'm used to London, it's massive, it's really big. And this is just like these superstars. And I look at them thinking, really? Like, who? Yeah, so yes. So this year, when it got moved to Melbourne, I said, I'm not going. But then I've had 4 people come to me who went, even the lady from the top AHA said, this is going to be awesome this year. So if I do go, it'll be last minute. And I'll let you know. And I'll let you buy me a coffee. How's that?
Yeah. I'll say coffee. I'll buy you a green wheatgrass juice or something with a shot of vodka.
Okay, that's good. You might have just talked me into it now. No, but yeah. So the jury's out. I'm still saying no. My wife, when you're going to go, I went, no, I still don't want to go because I every day with Sydney it's easy for me because I go, no, I'm not going. And on the day I wake up and go, I'm going now. Then I just get in the car and go. Melbourne, I have to think about it, and yeah, I don't like slumming it in rubbishy hotels either. So it's going to cost me a bit. And I'm already going to the Blue Mountains, and I'm going up to Byron again in a couple of weeks. I'm thinking, do I really want to go? So yeah, the jury's out. So if I do go, it'll be Friday morning. I'll wake up and say, well, I'm going. So I'll let you know nearer the time.
See, it's a different motivation here. It's like quick, get away from the family and quick weekend in the city. A little bit less hair, a little bit more espresso martini. It'll be good fun.
Yeah, I think if it was in Brisbane, I'd go. I think the fact that I'm going somewhere where it's going to rain, it always rains, it's cold, it's icy. Yeah.
Why can't they have it in Bali or something? I'm like, they should do that. I would totally go. Be awesome.
The only thing I really like about Melbourne is I remember when I went there to a photo shoot. I went to do a photo shoot with Laurel. They flew me in, did this big photo shoot. It finished about 10 o'clock and the place was buzzing. I think I went to about 1 a.m. It was still buzzing. I walked through the Crown Casino, come under a subway. It was just like, I can't believe it. This was like London, where Sydney, 9 o'clock, everyone's asleep. Like it's dead as a dirt. This is Sydney. There's nothing going on, So
it is because you have your lockout thing. Because we went last year to Expo and we're ready to, all us mums are going, woohoo, escape, and it was like, nothing happening. It's a bit boring, really.
Yeah, it is. So I do like Melbourne for that, and but we shall see. The jury's out. I'll let you know nearer the time. We shall see.
Sounds good.
Cool. So we're on to team meetings. Are you holding team meetings yet with your employees?
I just started this Saturday.
That's good. And with a team meeting, like I said, I like to do mine. Your team meeting really should be, we call it team meetings. It should be called team training. That is where all your systems that you do should be role played and replicated in that team meeting. So with my team meetings, we always start with, when we talk of that that sandwich we talk about. You start off good, dish the dirt, finish really good. That's what we tend to do. So for mine, when my first question when I open a meeting with my team is always, okay, guys, what fell short this week? How did we let people down? And they'll go, oh, no, it was great. And I've already got my ammo ready to go of all the systems that I knew broke down. And I'll explain all my systems, and then we'll role play them. We will literally just role play them week after week. We talk about finances in that team meeting as well. It's a really good place to actually figure out which system's breaking down, and then it's not a who's broke it down thing. It's not a blame game, or I know now and again they do turn into a slight bitch fest, which they do. Sometimes it needs to be, and I'll turn it myself into a bitch fest to bring out the evilness that needed to come out sometimes. But in general, what we tend to talk about is what systems broke down and how can we not happen again. So if we had a complaint with something, how do we not have that complaint again, and how do we deal with that complaint is really important. So that moves me on to OXO, which is where we are sitting now, and homework, which I did all down here just for you. I need you to I've already sent you last meeting and the meeting before. We had things that talked about how to set up a system. So I guess what we're trying to figure out now is which system do you want to set up? And this will be for everyone who hears this because they'll all be catching it as a replay. We need you to set up one system, print it out step by step, and send it to me. So ideally, I did have all these systems laid out through here, which I'm not going to go through these too much. But indirectly, as a system, what we need to figure out, ideally the one that works for me is the low-hanging fruit. So, for example, building a system will be how you answer the phone, how you greet a client, how you clean the floor, how you clean the coffee, how you make a coffee, how you gown a client up. But a low-hanging fruit to me is how do I get my rebooks higher? How do I get my client retention better? How do I get client loyalty to be better? How do I get my staff to be more efficient? These are the ones that will impact you and have more money in your till at the end of the week. So these are the ones that will do that. So low-hanging fruit ones are the ones that will make you money and make you do it. The rest of them are ones that will make your life easier. So I guess what I'd like for you to do would be to do one piece of homework of setting up a system. Have you set up a system up yet that's actually printable, Georgina?
Not really. I started with a coffee one. I've done pictures of coffees, but
Okay.
I've stuck it on the coffee wall, but I haven't actually written it out.
Okay, cool. Because I guess what a system for me is you are going to hand in your keys to your apprentice on Tuesday and say to this apprentice, I'm going to England for a month. Look after the place. And she should be able to do everything in your salon, and it should be in a book ready for you to go.
Yep, and it does need, because, I thought about the coffee thing because you said about how everyone should serve one the same, and I thought, like as in mine are doing that. And then one coffee went back the other day because it was too cool. So I stood next to her because she made me one, and I felt the thing and I said, do you think that's warm? She goes, yeah. And I put the little thermometer in and I said, look, that's 60 or 50. She goes, it's too hot to drink otherwise. And I said, no, it needs to go in between the bits, Anyway, so I had to redo that. And also her chais, 2 teaspoons. I said, do you drink chai? She said, no. Right, you need to. So anyway, yes, it has been failing. I didn't even know. There you go.
Yeah, and I guess that's why we do, because otherwise you'll get your regular client going, oh, I don't want a chai there. It's awful. It's so sweet. Because
well,
yeah.
I saw one being left. That was my first that's interesting. Yeah. And then the busybody lady that you get come in, she was good, and she just said she was actually going to go out the back. I'll just put some hot water in it. And I went, oh, here we go. Okay, got to fix that one.
Cool. And the reason that we tend to do systems really deep down is the fact is that as you're getting busier, and this would never happen with you on your own, it probably would never have happened with you and your junior, but now you've got your second employee, you suddenly, your eyes in the back of your head and the front of your head, you haven't got any other side anymore, so you can't see everything that's going on. So the whole idea is if you build the systems how you like it, it doesn't matter if you have a day off or how busy you are, that client will get exactly the same regardless. And as we talked about in module 1, people buy from people they like, but more than anything else, they just like to know what they're getting. It's the reason that McDonald's is still going today, because we know their coffee and food is rubbish, but we know it's rubbish. And we go there because we know it's rubbish. We know when we're doing a journey, we know exactly what we're going to get. Because if you had a McDonald's and a greasy calf next door, you'll always choose McDonald's. You'll never choose the greasy calf, because you just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the prices, you don't know the quality, you don't know the cleanliness. You just know. So people like repetition. They like it to be exactly the same every time. It's the same as your wash. If someone comes to you and has their hair done and you used to do their hair, and I know you know your stuff, and you give the best head massage ever, and then your juniors is slightly watered down, and your new juniors just a quick scrub front and back and never gets the middle panel, apart from your whingy client, they're going to go, Georgina's gone off the boil, hasn't she?
Yep.
Where it's not you at all, it's your first year junior, but they're just thinking because you did not wash the back of their head, or there's still a bit of tint left in there, you know? These clients just don't like it. They like exactly the same. It's why you got busy. It's why your junior will be busy. And you can get a new girl that could just smash the lot really easy. So we need repetition. So OXO is all about just doing things. You don't have to do them that fantastically brilliant. You really don't in this day and age. You just have to do them well. So homework is one. You can do coffees if you'd like, because we know coffees are failed.
I'm going to do coffee and shampooing, because I'm not 100% convinced with my new junior. We'll see how she goes, but I think she's a little bit airy-fairy and a little bit not thinking ahead. So I need to actually have a system so she doesn't just go, yes, and then not do it. So, yes, it's good time to practice.
Cool. Do it in one of your meetings. Buy a pack of these. I'm not sure you can see them now. See these things here? There you go. See them?
Yes.
Just buy a pack of these. Yeah, just post it. Yeah, okay. Yep. And hand them to your team and stick them all over your mirrors in an order that you think the wash should get done, or what you think the coffee should get done. So for example, I would sit there and go, right, let's find out how we make a coffee, and get all 3 of you making a coffee on a piece of paper, 1 element per sheet, okay? 1 element per sheet, and then put them in an order as they go. So it's a bit like, for example, when you're washing hair, you would sort of test the water on yourself before you put it onto their head. Where do you wet first? Do you wet the crown? Do you wet the front? Do you wet the back? Then you squirt the shampoo. Do you put it into your hands, or do you put it straight on? Do you apply it to the front? Which motions do you go? Talk like a clock, you know, so start at 12, go to 1, go to 2, 2 and 11 should be together, you know, as you go down the sides and down the back. Some people like to have behind their ears massaged. Do you do that? Do you massage their neck as you do it? It's getting a step process in, and once it's all muddled up, get them to put it in some sort of order they think makes sense. And then once you have it in that order, get your iPhone out, just take a picture of it, and then you can just have it on your desktop while you're working through and put it in step by step. Really easy to do.
You know what? I might even, because I've been trying to find a video, but I actually have a mannequin. I might even video myself doing the perfect, exactly what I want, and show them that that's exactly it.
Why would you not? Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
I'll do that.
Do it. I mean, we've done that in our team meetings. We've washed each other's hair and just went all big circles and watched it all and videoed it, like you say, on ourselves as we go through. Because we had some weird, you know, I went through a stage where we were doing weird washes, you know, with sugar soap and things like that. Like literally putting sugar and lemonade on people's hair and fizzy water. Went through the whole stage at one time. So we had so many different washes, it was unbelievable. But having it implemented step by step, so you know when you're over here and you're giving that lady some love, and your junior's over here giving that lady some love, you don't have to think about the junior at the basin. You know
Yeah.
it's all going to be good because you've sorted it out firsthand, and it's beautiful. So I guess that's what OXO is all about. That's our plan, is how can I come? Because even eventually, if we come really good at OXO, and I'm really hoping you are, if I came to your junior and had a haircut, I would get almost the same haircut as what you're giving me.
Yeah.
It should be almost the same. Because I'm going to do a video about this actually, because I got my scissors out the other day for the first time in months anyway. So you know when you get someone with a really big bushy hair, and you comb the hair up and you cut the first section in and you drop it down and you think, oh, I've made a huge mistake. That layer is way too short, right? But we have to carry on, don't we? We have to finish this haircut knowing full well it's going to be rubbish. But once you've done it once, you realise the next time you will leave it that a little bit longer for it to actually sit properly. And that's what you get. But telling someone that, they'll never get it until they make the first mistake. So what we try and do is we put systems into place, wait for them to break it, and then put it back into place again. Really locks that system home. So it's having some replication, and it's very strange because after I finish this meeting, I'm going to do it myself. I haven't even done it because I've got no employees. So no employees. It's here that I don't have to physically put these systems in place. So every time when I set up this meeting, I have to go and collect, I think it's 35 emails and email you all. And every time I do it, I go, I'm going to put that somewhere safe. So when I come do a meeting each week, I'm just going to collect you all and put you in. And I never do. And every time I'm searching for your emails every single time. So with my one-on-ones, I dive into the computer, and as I did that, I did do a step-by-step process for every computer system that I log into now. I have a process because my memory is not as good as it used to be, but I need to do that with email. So I also will start systemizing myself as well. I just won't send it to you though, and I'll get 2 A's as well. I'll always get 2 A's. So yeah, so that's the name we're going for, because our next section is KPIs. We could actually move on to tracking certain things in the salon, but we just need to make sure that your systems are in place, or you know how to build a system, because it might take you all year to get your systems down pat. It really will. I had this thing when I came here and I opened up in the UK, opened up in Australia from the UK. I didn't open my doors till 10 and I closed them at 4. And the first and last hour, we just systemized the salon over and over again because I had that time to play. When you've already got your salon, you don't have that luxury. So you need to have time. And the only way you can do it is in a team meeting. And if you try and squeeze it at the end of the day, to be honest, staff just aren't interested. I wouldn't be interested. You know, I want to go home myself. I live by the beach, the sun's shining. I don't want to sit there, listen to you talk about how to make a coffee for the 15th time. So we have a set time, and usually in the morning when everyone's more alert. Sometimes I buy them breakfast, but indirectly that's when we do our meetings. And they know, like when I don't call a meeting, then they know that it's usually Christmas, or they'll go, why? They actually miss that playtime. It's quite strange. They get used to, like hitting targets, they get used to working through systems so it's perfected, which I think is really good once you get your team to that level. So meetings, I love the fact that you started that. But also I want you to look back as well to see which process you have in place and which ones you don't. And if you do have an extra half hour on your board, maybe build yourself that information product strategy, or get your staff to. You know, I don't know if you have quiet days or not, but you could get your apprentices to actually do that information product strategy themselves, you know. It's a quick video on each other, and they can do, you know, their signature massage if they want to, whatever they do to put out there, just so people know that your juniors are a certain level. Plus, I think it's really good for juniors to have some authority. Most of my juniors looked after my Facebook account. It was part and parcel of what they did. They knew they could do it within seconds. Like they could do in seconds. Even now, it takes me hours to do. They're so fast. I've only just gone to Snapchat. How bad am I? I'm like 4 years behind everyone else. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, there you go. That's what it's on there. But yeah. So for me, it's I think empowering your staff members to feel part of your team will build the culture to do that. That's what I believe. Cool. So any questions before we start to wrap up, Georgina? Any questions on you You've
No,
got the
I
floor.
I need to open up my modules and have another look because I haven't done that for a while.
Yeah, dive into the modules and have a go through them, and work through where you are at the moment. But also, yeah, work on one system for me, be it coffee, be it something else, and then send it me. See if I can fault it, which would be quite good.
All right.
Because it's really hard because I don't know what your system is, but it's hard to break a system from far away because you could just put 3 things down. So that's what we do: press a button, put the coffee cup under, and it's done. The heat's all set. So I don't know it, but the whole idea is just try and bring it down. Because once you've made one, you can make multiple. So if you do one for your hair and you do one, I definitely want to see the video of your hair wash though. Let's do that.
Well, you know what? I might do it today.
Oh, okay. I shall wait for the email tomorrow. Stick it on YouTube and give me the YouTube address.
Maybe not on YouTube.
Really? You can set YouTube to private now anyway. It's quite,
Can you?
yeah, it's quite safe.
All right.
Very, very safe through there. Cool. So hopefully next week, I think we're going to be back onto a Tuesday early morning. So you might not catch you that early. I think I'm going to do Tuesday early back at 6 so the UK people can get involved. And a few others will jump in and we'll see how we go. We might have got a few more joined by then. So we might go a bit back, do half a meeting of module 1 again and half a meeting on OXO or we might move on to KPIs.
Okay, that's good because I've got this proper program with all that stuff on it and I don't really know what to do with it. So that'll be good.
Really? What do you use?
Simple Salon.
Did you say Simple Salon?
Yes.
Really? I know Simple Salon very, very well.
There you go. I do too. I don't use it properly, but it's good.
You don't use it? Wow, really? Okay, cool.
Well, I use it for my point of sale and I use it, but I'm playing around with it. Like I said, I think we used to use Katoomba and shortcuts in the other salon and, I'm pretty sure the boss, gets on there and she puts things in different columns and does all this stuff and I don't do all that, but I will. I'll get the hang of it soon.
All right, well, hopefully we'll move on to KPIs. I'll probably just give you one thing to track and then work you through it, second thing to track and work you through it, and we'll go through like that.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to go and have a coffee and I'm going to walk today. I'm going to go for a bit of a walk. The sun's shining and try and relax before I finish my day off. I've got a few more clients this afternoon I need to talk to. So I'm going to try and clear my head and do some relaxation. It being a Monday.
Great. Enjoy your day off.
I will do. And your day off as well too, isn't it today?
Yes. And then my last day in the other salon tomorrow, my finale.
Oh, are you going to full-time on your own?
Yep. Well, okay. Sort of full-time, not really. Thursday to Saturday.
Okay, that's awesome.
I've quit the other salon. I think I told you tonight, I quit my apprentice from the other salon.
Yeah. So
in June, she'll start working with me on Wednesdays. And, yeah, I'm just going to do that for a training day for her.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, that's awesome.
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but thank you for letting me sit in. That was really helpful and really interesting.
No problem, Debbie. Anytime.
Okay, I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, bye, Debbie.
Goodbye. Bye, Georgina.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Georgina. I'm going to go as well. Bye now.
All right. See you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.